Hey, guys.
We found
Stick Hockey Week. Now let's go over the boards. It's anniversary time on the island. For the New York Islanders, the road to a first Stanley Cup was not an easy one. Recently, the members of that 1980 Cup-winning team were assembled at the Coliseum for a reunion. 1980 was a crossroads year for the Islanders. No longer were they expansion stumble bums or postseason choke artists. By 1980, General Manager Bill Torrey had a club that could make it to the top and stay there. In retrospect, the Islander dynasty now seems inevitable. Yet in the years leading up to 1980, inevitability always gave way to disappointment. In 1978, the rising Islanders were ousted by Toronto in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Harder to take was the following year when the arch-rival Rangers upset an Islanders club that had posted the league's best record during the regular season. But that meant nothing in the face of playoff elimination.
Well, I think more than anything else, it was such a disappointing year, you know, especially for the guys that lived in the area. All you heard all summer was, well, what happened, because we had such a great record.
We had to live through it a whole summer with the fans. And, you know, that's the worst part about it. I mean, even on Long Island, you got three-quarters of Long Island probably back then were Ranger fans also. So we had to live through a whole summer of putting up with these people, and sometimes it's pretty tough.
It was tough as well to live with the Also Ran label during the next season. Everyone recognized there was talent on the island. It was just that the balance needed a little fine-tuning. That came with the acquisition of Butch Goring from Los Angeles right before the trade deadline.
I looked at Darryl Sittler, who was available at that time, because I was looking, obviously, for another center iceman. And the thing that I always admired about Butchie was that he played with such fire and competitiveness that I thought it would be a good thing in our locker room, and as it turned out, it was.
Goring and the Islanders knocked off the Kings in the opening round of the 1980 playoffs. That was followed by a series win over Boston. Then in the semifinals, a hard-fought struggle over Buffalo.
Lorimer, the shot, 6-8, score, Bobby Nystrom.
Finally, it was the finals.
The season wouldn't have been a success unless we'd won the Stanley Cup, because obviously in the end run that was what everybody expected of the New York Islanders, and of a team that had as much talent as we had on our team.
The Philadelphia Flyers were daunting foes in the Stanley Cup Finals, but New York jumped out to a 3-1 series lead. However, the Flyers easily won Game 5, and an anxious group of Islanders knew they had to win it all at home in Game 6.
If Philly had to beat us in Game 6, they probably would have beat us, going back to the Spectrum, because then they would have really had the upper hand.
I didn't sleep much the night before the game, and John Tonelli and I were spending a little bit of time on the bus on the way back, because we said, listen, we got to be heroes tomorrow.
And in overtime in Game 6, they were just that.
Number 10 hit it to Kennelly. Here's Kennelly with Nystrom. A pass to Nystrom.
It's very difficult to explain to someone that, or people that haven't played a professional sport, what that feeling is like. There really isn't a word, especially in such a quick moment like that.
Maybe for Bill Torrey and the Islanders, the word is accomplishment, something 1980 will always represent.